Show us the fucking money. It's time to lay it on me. Cause what's mine is ours. This shit belongs to the army. Gon' need to see them Benjis. We hungry for them tendies. Give us this day our daily bread. Show us the fucking money.
This ain't financial advice, just a little DD to help you think twice. We hope for each other, eyes on the prize. The new floor's 200,000 times 5. I joke, I kid, no, I don't know a damn thing. I'm as simple as Bubba trying to sell some damn shrimp. Can't spell IQ, can't even count to 10. And I eat crayons every day with my friends. I think about Kenny in his ivory tower, shaking in his lily boots as the apes overpower. Must suck to lose to monkeys, so dumb. But you made your bed and you got nowhere to run. I'd love to be a fly on the wall when he makes the prize fall. And he watching as we keep on more. You forgot we on the floor, blind, 2 hours old. Lie, stop breaking the law, asshole.
Show us the fucking money. It's time to lay it on me. Cause what's mine is ours. This shit belongs to the army. Gon' need to see them Benjis. We hungry for them tendies. Give us this day our daily bread. Show us the fucking money.
Yeah, crayon eating Lambo loving spook brain, stupid ass. Throwing all my money at the streets like a quarterback. FUD don't mean a thing. Water up a duck's back. Apes not leaving nothing till we get the money stacks. Monkey see, monkey do, monkey holding to it blue. Monkey magic coming through. 3 us monkeys on the moon. Double digit IQ, Tendy loving bamboo. Right here we got more smoothies than a jumbo juice. Probably thought you coulda made us sell all the gooder. And hell, we maybe woulda, but we more than the Buddha. The floor, 6 figures ain't selling for less. You took on the ape nation and you're fucking with the best. We hope for each other, my sisters and my brothers, the fighters and the lovers. We don't need another fan because we huddle through hard times and struggles. Cause we're just a couple of dumps in the rubble.
Show us the fucking money. It's time to lay it on me. Cause what's mine is ours. This shit belongs to the army. Gon' need to see them Benjis. We hungry for them tendies. Give us this day our daily bread. Show us the fucking money.
Moon gang, what is going on? Happy Thursday, November 4th. I don't know if it's your morning, your afternoon, your evening, your night. Doesn't matter. Hope you're having an absolutely great one. And as always, welcome back to the best finance live stream out there, where you know what we are. We're just straight up dumb money. Excited to see what's going on today, because honestly, thus far, November, knocking people's socks off. I hope that your shoes are secure. I hope they're on, or maybe you don't have any socks on at all. But thus far, November, to kick off the week, to kick off the month, definitely knocking some socks off. It's been some exciting things. So many things moving on. AMC moving, GME moving, Avis moving, Bed Bath & Beyond moving. The markets, all of them, new all-time high. Tesla moving, crypto moving. Just so many money-making opportunities, and I hope you are fortunate enough to capitalize on that. But with all that being said, of course, as always, we have a lot to dive into, so let's get right to it. 5 things you should probably know before the market goes ding, 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 ding today. Wall Street steady after 4 straight days of record highs. And this is an understatement of what's going on. So, and we'll get more into it. The most recent surge is definitely because of the Federal Reserve and the fact that they're still being pretty dovish about the whole situation. But from a technical standpoint, check out what's going on. This is a new all-time high for the S&P 500. The SPY is an ETF, an exchange-traded fund. Think of it as a basket of stocks. This particular basket is 500 of the biggest companies within the U.S., and it just hit a new all-time high, like all-time. I'm not talking about for the year. I'm not talking about relative to COVID. I'm saying that the overall stock market is pricing in the best we've ever had it. Now, a lot of you might be scratching your head and won't be like, well, Matt, it doesn't feel like it's the best we've ever had. And you're right. But hey, That's the question for other people. In the meantime, as Powell and his cronies and politicians continue to line their pockets and push the market higher and higher and higher, you might as well make some money with them. Looks like we're already gapping up to another new all-time high today. We are thus far this year, this calendar year, 2021, the S&P 500 has made 62 new all-time highs. So that means what? By pure math, we have about 7 more to go, just for anyone keeping count. So that's the S&P 500. The NASDAQ 100, that's a bit more tech-heavy, 100 of the biggest. About 50% of them are tech related. Think your Apple, your Amazon, your Microsoft, that type of thing. That also hit a new all-time high. From a technical perspective, you have to let price discovery play itself out in a general sense. I'll watch that key psychological level of 400. Russell 2000, 2000 of the small caps. So don't think like mom and pop businesses. They're small cap relative to the titans such as like Tesla, but still pretty sizable companies. AMC is actually in this. It's the biggest one within it. GameStop used to be in it, and then it got moved out in June. So still sizable companies, but just relative to like the top dog type of a situation, not as big. But right now also hit a new all-time high. I'll watch 240. I don't know if it has enough gusto in this one to really push 250 in this particular run. We'll pay attention to it because right now all we're seeing is green. All we are literally seeing day over day is just so much green. Fed to start tapering this month as it begins pulling back on pandemic aid. So right here, money printer go burr. This is exactly why we've been seeing at least the recent push over the past couple of days, especially yesterday, of why things just ripped. I mean, if you look at the intraday, check this out. So the Fed from the FOMC meeting came out at 2. Look at this. Nothing all day. Everyone's waiting. They come out with the results at 2. Boom. Houston, we have ignition, and this is all just because of our boy Powell and his friends there saying, you know what? We're not touching interest rates. Everyone knows we're not touching interest rates, but let me reaffirm, we are not touching interest rates. Everyone's like, all right, sick. What about tapering? He's like, you know what? That thing we've been talking about for a while of how we're at 120 billion per month, we're going to cut that down by 15 billion. Well, that exact thing we've been saying, we're going to do that. The only interesting thing there was like in real time, he was redefining the word transitory, and they were kind of taking a step back from really their own words of it's transitory. Now they're saying that we have factors we believe to be transitory. So they're putting kind of a wall between themselves and their previous statements about this whole inflation scenario. But in a shorter time frame, longer time frame, yeah, you got to consider inflation. You might not want to be sitting on so much USD. But in the shorter time frame, when you have comments like this, they're like, okay, the Federal Reserve, the people who are just putting borderline an infinite amount of money into our system, they're still being pretty dovish, as in interest rates low. They care about employment, keeping employment as high as they can, unemployment as low as possible. They're looking for the labor market to, in what they refer to as, heal. They're looking for the labor market to get back because right now it is hard for people, employers, to fill employment right now. That's like a common thing we're seeing in a lot of earnings announcements. On top of that, they're also mentioning various supply chain issues, not being able to get it. To the best of my understanding, what's going on in the Pacific right outside of LA and Long Beach, 2 of the biggest ports for the US, accounts for about 20 to 25% of all imports into the country. Lots of issues out there. In fact, it's getting so bad that the president is hiring the likes of Walmart, UPS, and FedEx to help speed up all this like true gridlock that we have going on out there, getting the supplies. Big problems going on, supply chains, labor issues, and a lot of this is also then just coming back to the inherent issue of clear inflationary issues. Once again, that's a medium, longer term issue. Short term, just money printer go burr, higher and higher and higher and higher. And I've discussed this, but I really want to drive this point home. I find it absurdly comical, more comical, because if I really thought about it, I'd be like, that's hypocritical. And then I would get mad and I would go on some sort of rant and I would just be upset with the overall system. But let's just take that first feeling of just comical. So many people out there, mainstream media, apparent professionals, talking about how everything's overvalued when it comes to apes. AMC's overvalued. GME is overvalued. How could you possibly buy it? The fundamentals are out of whack. You know where the fundamentals are really out of whack? Our entire system. Do you think that the S&P 500 should be at an all-time high? Do you think that the NASDAQ 100 should be at an all-time high? Do you think that the Russell 2000 should be at an all-time high? I don't know about you. I don't get out much. I'm usually stuck in my mom's basement day in and day out. But I'm telling you, it's not like our economy is the best economy we ever had. And right here, I get it. People are going to be like, well, the economy isn't the exact same thing as Wall Street. Hey, you're right. I'm not disagreeing with you on that. But to have this much of a disparity between the two, it does not add up. So understand that when the ape community, when the dumb money community is being attacked for buying something that they perceive to be fundamentally overvalued, unless they can show to me that they're not involved in basically any stock right now because everything's overvalued, it does seem like they're picking their particular arguments for whatever, for views, for titles, to make their bosses happy, whatever it is. But it does all seem to be a little bit off base, if you ask me. Moderna sinks after cutting 2021 forecast for COVID vaccine sales. Yes, so they reported right before the market opened today, and I found this one to be noteworthy and also surprising because Pfizer destroyed. So right now, Pfizer, I get it. It has many other things going on. It is a huge pharmaceutical conglomerate, many things going on there. But even if you look at its Rona-based sales, they destroyed it. In fact, they raised their guidance for next year, and I just didn't think that Moderna, and that's a little bit more specific, like that's kind of Moderna's thing going on right now. Like a lot of their revenue is based solely on their vaccine sales. I did find it surprising that it just didn't do well. It's actually down 14% in pre-market. It might actually be down a little bit more right now. I'd have to double check that. But right here, Pfizer is expecting sales of $36 billion, and then Moderna coming in at 15 to 18, and at first it was 20. So it's cutting down, and I find that to be, I guess, confusing. I don't know if there's like a political favoritism for Pfizer over Moderna, just because, like, if you look at it, Pfizer, you have to check out this video from Russell Brand. He was pointing out how, like, we're trusting in this company, but they sponsor everyone. If you're a mainstream media outlet, Pfizer has paid for it. NFL, Pfizer sponsors everything. And that's just, it's an interesting psychology play because it's trying to get its name brand associated with everything. Seriously, the next time you're watching news, count how many times it's Pfizer's a sponsor of it. Pfizer's marketing budget just to be in our face over like, hey, I'm a good company. I'm here. I'm right in your face. We're good. We're with the good guys. We're with ABC. We're with CNN, CNBC, Fox. We're with all of them. We're Pfizer. You could trust us. At once, it's like on the very big scale, what Pfizer is doing, it's like almost like your local drug dealer, except this local drug dealer is very nice. Like, he comes in, helps you cook up, like, we're going to do community cleans, all of this. They've perfected it on the largest scale. Like, they are associating their name with everyone and everything, and it's just Pfizer's in your face. I implore you, check out the video. It's a recent one from Russell Brand, and he was just pointing out how they sponsor literally everything. So I'm almost wondering if Moderna is falling out of some sort of political favoritism and Pfizer's like kind of eating up that market share. Just a thought. I don't know. I'm not in politics. Ford to impose vaccine mandate, plans to buy back high cost of debt. So two important things going on here. Plans to buy back high cost of debt. That's nice. Ford almost hit a new all-time high yesterday, at least relative to the past 10 to 12 years. Ever since its pivot more into the world of EV, the stock's been doing well. The company's been doing well. It was a very smart, strategic repositioning of the trajectory for the company. But coming back to this first part, impose vaccine mandate. It's a hot topic right now. Half of you are going to be like, yeah, that makes sense. The other half of you are going to say, no, that doesn't make sense. I'm not here to share my own political opinion. I'm just trying to point out what the actual news is. I want you to come up with your own opinions on it. But I also want to point out that previous companies, such as Southwest, right now, I think is kind of embroiled in this fight about what's going on with mandates. Like, there was a sick out, and then you have other companies. It's a weird position for these companies and these leadership teams to be in, and I am personally happy that I'm not the one making these decisions, because it seems like no matter whatever decision you make, half the people are not going to like it. That sucks. House prepares to vote after Democrats boosted Biden bill. The House is preparing to vote as soon as today, Thursday, November 4th, on a revised draft of President Joe Biden's now $1.85 trillion social and climate spending package and a separate bipartisan Senate passed $1 trillion infrastructure bill. Two things going on: spending bill, infrastructure bill. The change here is because it was for quite a while 1.75 trillion. So they upped it by another 100 billion apparently. Just so you know, that seems to be the main thing there. And just understand that there are two things. So we have the infra bill and the spending bill. In a flurry of last minute adjustments after months of negotiations, Democrats added back a new paid family leave program. So that's been in, that's been out. It's kind of like the Macarena, like that whole thing: put your hand in, take your hand out, put it in, take it out. That whole thing, that's exactly what they're doing with a lot of these things that are just going back and forth day over day. Family leave program, work permits for immigrants, and changes to state and local tax deductions. Democrats want to make gains on Biden's proposal after their party lost the tight Virginia governor's race and barely hung in New Jersey unexpectedly close gubernatorial contest. That word, probably one of the most fun words to say, gubernatorial. Did that actually close? I know they lost in Virginia, which was an upset. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy projected to win re-election after a surprisingly tight race against Jack Citarelli. That's an interesting name. That's a cool name. Yeah, so this one, I didn't know. It was just updated 2 hours ago. All I knew is that it was very, very close. Like, it was a razor margin difference. But I guess in New Jersey, the original governor, Phil Murphy, I guess, re-won. He kept his positions. So that probably matters to you if you're from the state of New Jersey, not too far away from me. In terms of earnings, yes, Moderna had it today. After the market closes, I'm particularly interested in Square. We also know that there's been some talks of a Pinterest acquisition. Maybe we'll hear something on that. Uber coming out. That doesn't really excite me too much. Airbnb, the result of Airbnb, ticker symbol ABNB, might be a bit interesting in the sense of, could we use that as a barometer for returning to the new normal? Are more people going out to travel? Like, are we getting back to the pre-pandemic levels? Might be able to use that as somewhat of a gauge. And before the market opens tomorrow, I'm definitely interested in both DraftKings and Coinbase. Right now, I don't own Coinbase, but I'm just tracking it because of crypto. And I do own DraftKings. That's more of a long-term investment for me. Speaking of crypto, couple interesting things I want to talk about. In Craig Wright trial, plaintiffs lay out pattern of fraud, deceit, and hubris. The self-proclaimed Satoshi will have much to address when he takes the stand today. So this, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but there is development in the world of crypto of like, are we going to figure out who the unknown creator is? Is the mask going to be taken off in a Scooby-Doo fashion? So right now that's being laid out of who owns what. Interesting things going on there. You could check this out on CoinDesk if you're just interested in this legal battle for basically $60 billion. I find it to be particularly interesting. NFTs have been all the rage over the past 2 quarters, and more recently we're hearing about NFTs in the NFT marketplace with GameStop, and I personally think that's a very, very intelligent move and I guess step forward that Ryan Cohen and the GME leadership team is taking, and it seems like a lot of other people are doing it. FC Barcelona joins NFT rush with moments from 122 years of history. So for all of my football, soccer fans out there, if you're a Barca fan, you might be able to own one of the digital moments, and I bet there's a lot of impressive ones over the past 122 years. But the real reason I'm bringing this up is because it seems day over day, there are more and more companies and sporting teams that are getting into this world. Crypto is clearly here to stay. At first, a lot of people are like, this is a fad. Why would you buy a digital rock for millions of dollars? And whatever. Okay, you might be able to pick out particular cases that you're like still scratching your head, but just the general concept of NFTs, of crypto, of blockchains, of this technology, of the metaverse, it is obviously that we are trending in that direction. It's gotten too much. It's gotten to the point of critical mass that I don't think we're stepping back. Will there in general be I guess, pushes upward, downward in terms of value and overall interest, yes. But in the long time frame, I think we're just on the up and up and up. And I would argue that it's honestly not even linear. I would argue that it's going to be more of that hockey stick exponential type of a thing as technology continues to spread throughout the globe. And more specifically on the backs of NFTs, you can't talk about NFTs without talking about Ethereum. And without Ethereum, you can't talk about Ether. Very exciting. So some of my favorite crypto projects truly are ones that relate to smart contracts. That's why I'm in Ethereum, which just hit a new all-time high of just below 4,700. That's why I'm in Solana, which just hit a new all-time high. And that's why I'm in Cardano. Unfortunately, did not just hit a new all-time high. But those are three major players that are smart contracts. And that's what allows you to do all these dApps, the NFTs. It's the utility of the world of crypto. And to me, that's the bet. I just personally think that's where this technology is going, hence why I'm in Ethereum, Solana, and Cardano. Solana hit its new all-time high or just below 250. I'm in it. And apparently these people who are smarter than I am continue to think that it'll go up and up and up. So right here, we're talking about FSI or FS Insight. If you want to check this out, once again, it is on CoinDesk. The firm's first upside target for Ethereum, is just below 5,000, followed by 5,800. They also, right here, Bitcoin's breakout to new highs to lead to the retest of the October peak near 67,000. And then finally, Solana remains a near-term standout after reaching 235, but may see minor consolidation following the latest rally. They are predicting further gains up to 308 and suggest buying during the dips. If, however, there is a pullback, the first major support is at 178, followed by 152. So just to give you a little bit more insight on my own thoughts on this and all of my crypto really is I'm not actively trading any of it. I don't actively trade crypto. I buy the projects that I like, especially when there's a dip. Maybe I'll even buy some more. And then other than that, I'm just looking to ride it out. Multiple decade play, because I just, right now, even if I have a nice gain, I got into Solana around 137, 138. It's a long-term play. I'm not going to get out at 200 where maybe a decade down the road, it could be trading at 5K. 10K. I don't know. I just believe in the technology that much. And just for the people who want to get into the specifics, I thought this was an interesting factoid of the week. Bitcoin supply is fixed and expected to hit 99.9%, about 21 million mined in March of 2048. I think this one is particularly funny just because we have the CEO of JP Morgan saying, he's like, has anyone even checked it? Yeah, it's open source code. You can see it. It's out there. This is the code that is running the blockchain of Bitcoin. It's not like a hidden secret thing. Literally, you could check it right now. I could check it right now. And the limit is very obviously 21 million. So anyway, we're looking for that to be mined at 2048. Remember, this is actually, as we get closer, it becomes more and more complex, more and more difficult. That's why the rate of mining is actually going to get slower and slower and slower. But according to, for this, in Ethereum, predicts that Ether's equilibrium supply will settle between 27 and 49 million, less than 40% of today's supply. So there's some of that argument of being inflationary, deflationary. The expectation is that it actually settles at less of a supply than we have right now, between 27 and 49. There's a lot of reasoning for this, and that's kind of getting into the economics of its particular technology. But with this, it's going to take time. And I personally believe that the dev team is, in the short term, they care far more about Ethereum 2.0, trying to make it cheaper. The gas fees are absurd. They're trying to increase the transactions, and they're trying to move the consensus model from proof of work over to proof of stake. Lots of exciting things with ETH 2.0, and the expectation is that we get that switch over next calendar year, some point in 2022, just so everyone knows there. But in the most general sense, just so you know, Bitcoin right now trading just below 62,000, Ethereum trading at 4,500, SHIB taking a dip. So a lot of you might be looking at your SHIB right now and you're like, what? Why is this happening? So what you need to know is the second biggest whale. I just want to get these numbers right. Oh, shoot. I already lost it. Where did it go? The second biggest whale in the past 24 hours moved almost like 2 billion. I want to say 2 point something billion of the token. So second biggest whale having a big movement. Not the best look. It's obviously like, I guess, prompting people to be a little bit worried. For me personally, remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I cannot tell anyone what to do, and I don't want to tell anyone what to do. But in my own decision, I'm betting on the community. I've said this multiple times. The biggest learning lesson I've taken away over the past, I guess, 11 months now, especially through the lens of AMC and GME, is you cannot discount the value of a highly passionate, engaged community. That's what AMC and GME have, and I believe that's what SHIB has, and I think all three of them are just continuing to grow. So this is a bet purely on how much I believe in the community. I mean, they're all over day. It's rare to see something trending that at least one of them relating to AMC, GME, like market manipulation, naked shorts, SHIB specifically, Doge, that, like, it's hard to go a day without seeing something like that trend on Twitter and Reddit or something like that. The community is highly engaged. And because of that, I'm just continuing to hold and swing my personal position. Now let's talk a little bit more specific about AMC and GME. AMC currently trading at 40.70, which means it's slightly down in pre-market. GME trading at 220, slightly up in pre-market. And just so you know, Tesla is also up in pre-market. But I'm sad about that because I don't have my calls anymore. So for today, there's already been a net return against, or I guess, depending on how you look at it, in favor of AMC of $250,000. That puts the estimated short interest at 16.7%, and the average age of the shares on loan cruising at 79 days. This is the biggest average age on loan we've ever seen. And remember, day over day, they're still paying a portion. Remember, the cost to borrow, that's an annual rate, so you would divvy it up by the amount of trading days within a year. Utilization 88, shares on loan just below 104 million. And then in terms of GME, we're seeing a notable spike in the average age of the shares on loan coming in at 55 days. Estimated short interest around 10.6%, utilization 33, and these shares on loan around 7.4 million. Same thing, pay attention to the cost to borrow. Just remember, this is the annual rate. You do have to split it up by the amount of trading days, and that's technically what they would owe day over day for keeping these shares out on loan. So I do have one important fundamental update. It's a positive one as it relates to GME right here. GameStop secures new $500 million credit facility with syndicate banks. Matt, syndicate, that sounds crazy. It sounds like James Bond. Why is GameStop in any way dealing with a syndicate? Okay, I get it. It sounds fun. When I thought about it right away, I just thought like James Bond. I was like, syndicate banks, is that even legal? What you need to know about this is a positive development. Right off the top, this is very good for any of you GME hodlers out there. Previously, it's a revolving line of credit, and you get a revolving line of credit if you're worth it. So right here, ABL, asset-based, look like it. You're going to hear credit-based or cash-based, but this one's asset. So the assets are from the company itself, but that's like kind of a nuanced thing. Right here, assets-based revolving credit facility. So this gives them liquidity. They are currently on one that ends in 2022, and that's $420 million. This one's $80 million more, $500 million, and it has lower fees. It helps them with debt. It makes them more flexible. This is a very positive thing, and it just, in a certain way, beefs up GameStop's war chest and gives them more flexibility at a lower cost to do whatever they want to do. We know that they have a fulfillment center about to get going in Nevada. We also know they have one in Pennsylvania. We know that they're getting into this world of the NFTs, NFT marketplace. There was that job posting for 8 different positions. So the takeaway from it, if you want to look into the nuances, the specifics of what an ABL is, what you really need to know is it's just money. It's a credit line for them. For syndicated banks, it's from a handful of different banks, and it's improvement on the one that they already have going. So that's the main update there. And then in terms of AMC, we are looking at Monday after the market closes, November 8th, they are doing their Q3 earnings. This literally just came out. I don't even know what it says yet. Are slowly and steadily returning. So it's, why are they turning bearish? Oh, this is probably relating to Wedbush, who just lowered their expectations, or they went from neutral to downgrade. I think Wedbush came out right here, downgraded AMC shares from neutral to underperform with a 12-month price target of $750. So my response to that, and I tweeted this out earlier, is tell me, one, professional or analyst on AMC or GME that has been right this entire calendar year? The answer is none of them have been. 0%, zilch, goose egg, nada. Not a freaking one has been right about their price targets on AMC and or GME this entire year. I don't know why it's going to start now. Remember, when they do this type of stuff, it is exclusively a fundamental breakdown. They're not pricing in the potential chance of a short squeeze. They're not pricing in the value of a community. This is an archaic fundamental model that they have used for decades and decades and decades. And to me, like, the reason I'm calling it antiquated is because this entire calendar year has completely redefined retail investment and enthusiasm and has thus changed all of the Wall Street landscape. So if you have models that are describing how the market has worked before retail enthusiasm, well, you got to account for it now. And as we come into the specifics of the fundamentals related to AMC, I mean, we know October alone, the box office, $638 million. No one expected that. No one expected that the theatrical experience, the movie-going experience, would bounce back that quickly at such a magnitude. October, for all of it, not just AMC, I'm also talking the other ones like Regal, Cinemark, they've all been doing way better than they ever expected. And then we even have some months, such as September, where certain weekends are not just the best weekends of the COVID era, it's the best weekend ever. They're like, this is our best weekend, flat out. Like, you don't even have to put that little asterisk of like, oh, of the COVID time. It's like, this is our best September ever. They're having best October weekends. I mean, between, what is it, Venom, No Time to Die, Halloween Kills, Dune, they crushed it in October. And I'm talking about all of movies and these companies, but then we know that AMC has the most name recognition. We know that it has the biggest market share. So I do argue that it will benefit the most from it. That's just my own thought. We're going to find out more. And then we also know that Adam Aron, the CEO, has been teasing about information that he has like a big announcement. So I hope it's some sort of, I don't know, sports partnership. We know that they've been talking with the UFC, also boxing, or whatever the boxing commission would be. And already in talks with the NFL to kind of expand that. So lots of opportunity. I'm excited there. And in a little bit, I'm sure some of you are going to have questions because we have some interesting filings that you can find on Fintel of insiders kind of actually executing on some options. So we'll be going over that. But in the meantime, ding, 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 the casino is open. Let's see how this gets going today. You guys know me. I like to sit on my hands for about the first 15, 20, 30 minutes, see what's going on. There's just a lot of like volatility at the start. So I don't want to get, I guess, like whipsawed in any decision related to the market. I like to just be calm, cool, collected right at the start. All right, let me answer some of these questions while the market gets going. Market B posted an article today saying that Prog has a partnership with Pfizer and ABBVIE. You can check my tweets for a link if you need. Shout out Wall Street Viking. Watching this while in the hospital, can't miss this until I go under. Wish me luck, Matt. Let's go AMC and GME. I really want options in Ford, FYI. Mikey P24. I don't know why you're in the hospital, but I hope it goes swimmingly well for you. I appreciate you being a hardcore viewer, hopping in right before you go under, man. Whatever it is, I hope it, I wish you a very fast and expedient recovery. If he is in, I am in. Adam Aron, 500K. Yeah, Adam Aron choosing to exercise some of his options. Can you tell us about Prog? I'm in Prog. I like Prog. Yes, there is a chance of a squeeze, but that's not why I'm in it. I'm rarely in biotech plays. For me, it's just the fact that I think it's undervalued, just judging on the numbers of Humira alone, and Progenity having the opportunity to disrupt Humira is like a top 3 selling drug in the entire world. And so it's very, very popular. And you have Prog valued less than $500 million, and Humira itself is selling over $10 billion a year. And when it's redefining how patients will be consuming it instead of it being injected, Prog has the patent to do an oral, application for it. So to me, that seems like Prog is undervalued. And then that's just one of, I would argue, Prog's three main pillars of a business. So I just like it. I think it's just fundamentally undervalued. That's why I'm in it. And if it ends up squeezing, sick. That's awesome. Vaccine mandate or get tested every week by Jan 4th. Is that for Ford, Brian? What happens to Prog call options if they are acquired by a pharma giant such as Pfizer, get screwed on GREE? I don't think so, no, because Pfizer, like, you might have qualms with Pfizer, but GREE, like, clearly was a complete scam of a situation. It was very, very bad. I don't see it going out the same way it did. So the issue with GREE was, like, it wasn't listed and then brokers had problem. Like, Pfizer, it's too big to not have, like, that type of listing stuff already figured out if it were to happen. And also, you would have plenty of time because it's not like they announce it and it's done. Like, usually it's like, oh, the acquisition happens on date X. So you'll have a time to do whatever you want with the shares or your options if you don't want to go through on the merger. It's not like it happens out of nowhere and it instantly is acquired the next day. That's not really how it works. What is this one? Matthew, you know darn well we all care about right now is, did the chip hurt worse the second time around? Surprisingly, no. So my tactic on the entire hot chip was I was in notable stomach pain, and I ended up eating like a sleeve of Tums and a third of a pint of ice cream, and then that fixed it. But thus far, fortunately, no like horror stories to reveal about my trips to the bathroom because of this hot chip. Matt, this price target is good. I remember a 1 cent price target. We are now at 750. That's an uptrend. Let's go. Well, that's from different people. Like, different analysts give out different price targets. Thoughts on PLKT? Let me write down PLKT and we'll do that when things settle down. AMC looking good. AMC is up it's up 1%, trading at 41.20. We see a little bit of resistance in that 42 region, but I really care about 44. That's kind of like the major level I'm watching, but it would be nice to get back into those 42s. Shout out DJ PLTK. Got it. Good morning, Matt. What's the deal with EVAX? All right, we'll check that one. EVAX. I swung ticker IO as an earnings play. It killed, no movement. Can you check the chart in Ortex for me? Give me your opinion. Might get out. Love ya. Just remember though, but if it's not did the earnings kill, it's did the earnings kill relative to expectations. If everyone thought it was going to kill and then it killed, well, that means it's in line with expectations and the price isn't really going to move. It's all relative to expectations. A company could completely miss on earnings, but if it misses less than what was expected, well, that's actually a win and the stock goes up. It's all about expectations, not the magnitude of the numbers that's reported. It's all relative to what was actually said or expected going into it. But I have that written down, James. Richard, I appreciate that. Good morning, Matt. Thank you for the amazing channel and sharing your knowledge while learning many new things too. What are your thoughts on VeChain's chart? VeChain. I'm in that one. I'm invested in VeChain. Cryptozaros got me into it. Also, AMC to the effing moon. What's going on? You have seen the circle theory, guys. All their TA is convicted on 52 today. Been tracking well the last week. Thoughts? I have no idea about this particular cycle theory. I feel whenever I hear people putting out particular price targets for very specific dates, right away they lose credibility. The way, and I feel like I can speak on this because I mean, you can see my videos. It's all about it's future, like the videos from 2020 are algorithmic trading videos. So it was just hardcore into the stats and the data and how things work. And even with that, my appreciation for data and my joy of trading on seasonal patterns and cycles and fractals, all that stuff, I like it. But the best way I can explain it is people somehow treat it as if you have a very sober person going from point A to point B. They're like, I have this seasonal pattern. I have this cycle. I have this fractal. We are going from here to here. We have to. They're treating it as if it's a sober person walking from A to B. And the best analogy I've ever heard when doing this is it's not that straightforward. You're not dealing with a sober person going from A to B. You are dealing with a drunken sailor going from A to B. Of like, they're drunken. They're a drunkard. They're a wino. They're gonna take a stumble here and there, and you're gonna get most likely in the right direction. But to think that they're gonna make it exactly to their door at 2 a.m. after like ripping it at the bar all night, it happens. Yeah, they might get home, but there's also a chance that they end in the neighbor's lawn. I think that's the best metaphor, analogy to think about when you're looking at cycles and patterns and all this. It's like you're not dealing with that sober person. You're dealing with the drunken sailor. You might get there perfectly. You also might wake up in your neighbor's lawn in your underwear. We've seen it go both ways. Would you consider bringing Gorillionaires on stream? Yeah, I mean, I love them. That's why I play their music every morning. I'm a big fan of them. Am I wrong for seeing strength in BKKT's chart? BKKT. Let me write that down. BKKT. Hey, Mark, got a Trust Me Bro tip on KAVL on my way to work. Would you look at it this morning? KAVL. Yes. Matt, what are your thoughts on doing a short-term option wheel strategy with Prog? Too volatile. No, sometimes volatility, it can be good for stocks. Right now with Prog, I mean, it kind of comes down to how, like, I guess, what's the best way to put this? Risk adverse you do or don't want to be. So for me, I think Prog's a pretty solid medium to long-term investment. And if you're upset with how it's moving right now, you could sell calls against it. You could also do some sort of credit spread on the call or the put side. There's various ways to play it. And you're asking for the wheel strategy. I mean, I think that could make you money, but it's kind of for yourself, how adept are you at that strategy? I mean, if you feel very confident in it, yeah, I think you can make money. But I don't know if you're just starting this and you want this to make it your first one, or if you've already been doing that strategy for quite some time. All right, we did that KAVL. We got that. A Trust Me Bro. The Gorillionaires. Yes. All right, sweet. All right, I think I'm up to date. Right now, AMC, similar to yesterday, the pump in the morning coming down, but let's see if it just bases right here, still off of 40. We're getting some volatility back there. GME hanging out at 220. Tesla did hit a new all-time high. It's so funny. This Tesla Hertz thing, I find it to be hilarious. So this is an update from Hertz. Some Tesla officials have been expecting the supply of 10K vehicles to Hertz each year. Hertz says it placed an order for 100K Tesla by the end of 2022. Tesla, Hertz are negotiating how quickly Hertz will receive deliveries for the order of 100K. So they're going back and forth on that. Very interesting. Wedbush on AMC says volatility in shares of AMC is likely to continue, driven by trading momentum unrelated to AMC's fundamentals by retail investors whose time horizons remain unclear. Like, they're just, these analysts are like, we just don't even know, guys. We just don't even, we don't know what they're going to be doing or not doing. Crazy stuff. Like, they're like, we don't know what their time horizon is, folks. Like, where did they get that from? Are they, in a certain sense, it feels like, did they just go to like the local zoo and they're like, okay, like, and they're just shouting at the apes in the enclosure and they're like, how long are you gonna hold for? Could be one option. I don't know what their research was or wasn't, but they're like, I don't know. They're just like, we don't get them. They're crazy. They're absolutely crazy. It has to be. Do you think it's absurdly nerve-wracking for them? Because they have, like I said, they're always just going to be doing their typical fundamental-based analytics. And you know that the poor person, whoever put this out, where was that Wedbush thing of like saying 750? They probably just like, they're like, please don't put my name on it. They're like, here's the report. Here's the metrics you want. Please don't put my name. Because as soon as they do, they just know they just get ripped apart on social media. Oh, man. Man, oh, man, oh, man. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. But I love that. What was that exact quote? Whose time horizons remain unclear. They're just like, we don't, please stop. They're like, here's the report. Get it off. Like, we'll come back next quarter. Whoever was like, I feel like they were drawing straws and they're like, okay, I guess I have to write it up this quarter just because the earnings are coming up. They're like, shit. Man. How is Solana doing right now? 240. Solana looking good. All right. Tesla not continuing its craziness, but Solana looking awesome. I'm curious. So it shot up, hit a new all-time high, and now it's just kind of coasting. Let me know in chat if you're in Solana, because if no one's in it, I'm just not going to really talk about it. But I like Solana. I'm in Solana. I am just a fan of any of these smart contract crypto plays, especially like the well-known one. What do you think about the SHIB drop? Did I miss some bad news? It sounds like the second largest whale made some serious wallet movements, and I think that spooked some people. But we also do, so with that being said, okay, like if we treated that as a catalyst, a negative catalyst, we do have two potential upcoming positive catalysts. So Kraken kind of lied to everyone. They're like, oh, we're going to list it if we get over 2,000 likes. They got 70,000 and they're like, oh, okay, like, well, it takes more time to list it. But like they said, we're going to list it today. So Kraken pissing a lot of the SHIB army off, and rightfully so. You can't say we're going to list it if something, that would be like me saying I'm going to eat a hot chip if GameStop goes over 250. And then I'm just like, nah, not going to do it. Didn't really matter. I don't get it. But Kraken, you can't go back on your word, especially with communities such as the SHIB army. Trust is like, as soon as you lose that, as soon as you go back on your word, you're done for. You are absolutely done for. And I cannot believe that their PR department wasn't like, oh shit, like what a misstep. What an incredible misstep. So anyway, I view Kraken actually listing it as a potential catalyst of being like, we're sorry. Here, we're listing it as fast as we possibly can. And then in a similar vein, I would say you have the same thing kind of with Robinhood. There's a lot of assumption that Robinhood will be listing it this month, November 2021. So either or both of those companies, Kraken and Robinhood, listing SHIB, I think would be a positive result for SHIB. Prog having itself a morning right now. I love Prog. In it, I have calls, I have stock. I'm excited about Prog. I would like it to recapture 4. That's like a main technical level I'm paying attention to, but I am a fan. How's the Russell doing right now? Ooh, the Russell's pushing. Nice. Let's see if this just is going to continue to go higher and higher and higher. AMC coming back down, reevaluating that $40 level. Let's see if it can make that nice base. All right. Shout out Bryson. Can you give me your thoughts on OCGN? Your short analysis thoughts are valued. Thanks. OCGN. Whoa. What happened to it? Well, this isn't good. Something had to get announced. Did a deal not go through? Did it miss approval? Something had to happen with OCGN because it was looking good to the point that it almost wanted to test its all-time high, but now it's just getting cracked. Something had to happen there. So this seems to be like, I mean, we gapped up and it sold off and then another gap down. There had to be some sort of negative development with it. Sava share halted ahead of major news. Sava. Well, if it's halted, it's not trading, so probably not much to see, but that's exciting. Not trading. So yeah, let me know whenever the news breaks, and this thing will probably get going. Did you see the news on there being way more supply of SHIB than previously reported? I thought that had something to do with the price drop. Could also be that. I saw those wonky numbers now for a couple days on CoinMarketCap where it went from 400 trillion to 500 trillion. They increased the supply by like 25%. Thought I saw that many people were saying that it was like a data mess up and it really is 400 trillion. But are you now seeing that like that was confirmed and that's actually like what it's at? 10 a.m. Eastern resume for Sava. So it sounds like we have about 13 minutes to go on that. Let me add that to my news tracker just so we can see when it comes out. Sava. Anything there? Sava reports review by Journal of Neuroscience shows no evidence of data manipulation in technical papers foundational to Kohrs' leading drug candidate. That sounds very positive to me. There was no evidence of data manipulation. Sounds pretty bullish. I have no Sava position, but if you do, if that's the only thing that's, I guess, prompting this, that sounds pretty good. Pretty bullish. Someone said Prog halted. Prog's not halted. No, has not triggered a halt. Hey guys, I've completely sold my positions for a month now because I need a break and had things happen. Now I'm scared of trying to re-enter. Help. Austin, whatever it is, stick to your trading plan. Just what's your risk point? What's your reward point? Stick to your trading plan. No, like at the end of the day, it's you putting your money up. Do not believe anyone on social media for like your trading opinion. If you want to use it for a little bit of information and education and entertainment, that's great. But no one listening right now should be making financial decisions based on social media. That is insane. That's truly insane. If you want to use it for a starting point and then you want to look into stuff more and do your own DD, that's great. I think that's completely reasonable. But just because you saw something on Reddit, just because you saw something on Twitter, just because you heard something on YouTube, that's not enough for you to put your hard-earned money at risk. Like I said, it could be a starting point, but you got to do more than that. SHIB coin confirmed 549 trillion. Well, that's not a good situation. So more supply, you have a second whale moving. Interesting. I don't watch Keenan, but I think he seems to be going more from like the AMC world over to the SHIB world. So it sounds like if you want to know about SHIB, maybe a worthwhile account to check out. IWM taking a breather. Q's still moving, SPY still moving. So it seems like the small cap sector, for whatever reason, getting a hit right now relative to what we see in the SPY and the Q's. ASXC, robotic surgery, possible 10KX company, in my opinion. Looks like it could be waking up after earnings call still early, in my opinion. Pirates, FKU, bigness. Would you love your opinion on DDD? Check out IOTX crypto, doing very well. IOTX crypto. So the one I've been reading a little bit more about recently is Loopring, just because of the connection with Loopring and GameStop. I've been really trying to wrap my head around the leadership team's plan, Ryan Cohen and co. At GameStop, of like really how they envision this NFT marketplace and how they want to kind of get their own foothold into the world of blockchain and crypto and specifically NFTs. So I was reading about those job postings, but I don't know. I think GameStop is being very, very smart right now with this NFT stuff. And similarly related to the world of crypto, AMC accepting it, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin. They were asking the community about SHIB. I would in no way be surprised if on the earnings announcement they say we are now accepting SHIB, similar to the way they are accepting Doge. I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever. Not at all, honestly. So I like that. I like them accepting it. I would like them to take a bigger step into it. I see a lot of people talking about maybe special tickets, like having those as NFTs, like big Marvel drops, or maybe if you do like very fancy popular movies from the past, if you sell those. Like, I think there's an interesting way for AMC to get into the world of NFTs, but I was really thinking about this. And remember, previously on national television, Adam Aarons has said that he has had very light, like more so in the realm of introductory discussions with Ryan Cohen. And then I was thinking, okay, Ryan Cohen is leading a company that's about to build out its own NFT marketplace, and it's building out that technology. And all of a sudden, if AMC just wants to get its toes a bit wet in the world of NFTs, I think that's the opportunity for them to maybe partner up. Before, I've talked about GameStop and esports and like having esport competitions on the big theaters or the big screens at the theaters. Yeah, that's obviously still there. But now I think there's an opportunity, and I'm not talking in the short term. I'm talking maybe this is something that needs to be built out and take some time. But I think there's a way that GME and AMC can truly work together, and I see that connection being NFTs. Keenan is great, but he's perpetuating false info. 394 trillion was at least a misleading supply, and 150 trillion got unstaked, at worst an error. I only pay attention to burn. I can't comment on it. Like I said, I just don't watch those videos, so I can't like badmouth someone when I don't know the situation. You're gonna have to watch it and come up with your own conclusion. Like I can't comment on something I haven't seen or watched or know more about. I just don't know the details of the situation. What was it? 394 trillion was at least a misleading supply, and 155 trillion got unstaked, at worst an error. I only pay attention to burn. So are you saying that the 500 plus trillion is right, that just like someone put it back into the supply because of unstaking? Is that what you're saying, Chelsea? Just to try to wrap my head around what's going on. Prog looking great. Remember, Prog above 4, I think, could get really interesting. This is saying in earnings of the 10th, just so everyone knows. So that would be Wednesday of next week. So we have AMC on Monday and Prog on Wednesday. Crow, which I believe is Crypto.com's own coin there. All right, I see more people talking about PLTK. Let me bring that up. PLTK, what's going on with this one? PLTK, whoa, huge gap down. Must have missed on earnings. That fundamental development, this thing got crushed. You do have some support at 21, but if it breaks below that, it could keep going. I just don't see any buyers on this at all. I would not be trying to buy this at this moment in time. Too high of risk. Fundamental driver, down, something bad had to happen. EVAX, a gap up sell-off, that's usually very bearish. My first thought would be this gap fill play. If it can't hold a gap up, that means the market is not accepting the new price. I don't know if it's, I would bet eventually it's going to fill this gap. I just don't know of when. IO, more people have been talking about this one. Ion, I don't know why though. Doesn't seem to be that exciting of a stock to me. It had good earnings, but it's giving up those. Once again, I would pay attention to the gap fill at 204, and I would pay attention to the gap fill at whatever this is, 143. But in most, in reality, I just like wouldn't change or like mess with this stock. BKKT, this is looking good. So this switched from VIH, which a lot of people talk to, over to BKKT. It's a digital asset platform. They just have a new partnership announcement with MasterCard and Fiserv, Fiserv. It's helping them build out crypto loyalty, reward points, and all that stuff. But nice connections, fundamental development. It's in the world of crypto. I kind of like it. I think it's a little expensive right now, just from a technical perspective. I'm like, I'd prefer to get it in the mid 20s. But from what I'm seeing, if you're already in it, it looks pretty good to me. If this gets above 40, I think it could keep pushing. I have no position on that, just to be explicitly clear. KAVL. Whoever asked about this seems to know more of the fundamental direction of the company, but from a technical perspective, it's doing absolutely nothing. So I don't know about the fundamentals, but from the technicals, it seems a bit boring. What else do we have? DDDDDDD. This one's looking good. Machinery, 3D systems, waking up. Excitement, I suppose, coming into the earnings on Monday, but had a nice technical breakout above just below 33, but we're moving. I mean, at this point, it got hit at resistance of 35. From there, I'd be watching 36. We saw a rejection. We saw some support. And then from there, 38. So I'd watch 35, 36, 38. It's a little bit chasey if you're on the daily time frame. Like, do you feel comfortable risking 27, 26? Maybe you're going to play it a bit more tight and just risk 31. I like it. I like the chart. My only question is, like, what is your actual risk point? What's the risk to reward ratio? All right. And then we have some crypto, but we'll get to crypto in a bit. I just want to see what's going on here. All right. We see AMC battling it out just south of 40. Would love to see this take out 40, push back around, and I think we need the IWM, the Russell 2000, to get going for that. Prog's having a nice day, stepping its way up. GME hopefully finding support at 215. It bounced off the 212. That was a resistance we've been calling out. Hopefully that region of supply is now turning into a region of demand. Would love to see this recapture 218, 220. That would be nice on GME. GME currently down 1.7% on the day. And then AMC down 2.5. So let's see if we could get some momentum built up and hopefully for them to go green on the day. Remember, any green day is a good day. And I beg of you, I see this and I think people are literally burning their money. And obviously I'm not here to tell you in any form what to do with your money. Do not trade what I trade solely because I'm trading it. Don't buy, don't sell. Like, I don't know how to be more clear than that of you got to do your own thing. I am not a financial advisor. You're in charge of your own money, but I do want to take this opportunity to point out a pattern of AMC and GME start to get going. And I think that gets people to be very, very enthusiastic to the point that they're buying weekly options, out of the money call options. And in the past, I've been guilty of this myself just because I get so excited. And that's why I think I'm there with you on the psychology of you're like, this is it. I can make huge tendies. But also, please historically look at these big one-day moves. They don't commonly lead into another extraordinary day. The days that end up being big, it's a slow and steady build, like a 1% gain, a 3% gain, an 8% gain, a 12% gain, and then boom. It's not common on AMC or GME that we have a gigantic day and then another gigantic day. It just has historically not been what we're seeing in those two for this calendar year. So because of that, I just want to give a word of warning out there that if you see a big day and you get excited, and then that is what drives you into getting like weekly out of the money calls, I just don't know if you're playing with like stats on your side. Like, I'm worried that you're not playing with an edge in that situation. If you get excited and you want to buy something farther out, okay, yeah, but that's going to be more expensive. Your premium is going to be higher because you're buying more time. But I just feel I like options. I trade options. I'm a fan of options, but I'm also here to tell you I'm seeing too many people get burned on weekly lotto calls, and you just got to be careful with that. If you hit it, you're going to hit it big, but the odds of you hitting it are not the highest in the situations we're seeing right now. It seems like we still need a bit more time. We got to properly build up a bit more momentum. Apparently following Pelosi is just massive income. I know you're long on Nvidia, but check it out today. Also love that you have stayed humble. What's going on, Jeremy? I appreciate that. NVDA, I love Nvidia. Following Pelosi is a money-making opportunity. Look at this. Look at this. She has $1.5 million in calls. 195 to 280. That's insane. That is ridiculous. New all-time high. I love Nvidia. I'm in Nvidia. I'm in AMD. I don't know if I'm in Intel. I like all three though. Nvidia is my favorite. I have a position in all of it. Are we getting a sympathy play with AMD? We are. That's a new INTC. Let's check out Intel. Not a sympathy play here. So AMD, and then you have Nvidia, semiconductors, fancy way to say that they're making processing chips, leading the way higher and higher and higher. That is insane. She has 1.5 mil in call options, and she is raking in the money. Raking in the money. Be careful about these gaps. No way would I buy this at a new all-time high. I actually just, what is my Nvidia position? Let me log this. I never remember my accounts because this is my long-term account. I don't really check it that often. Not a proper username. All right. Why is this not working? This is dumb. Okay, I can't get in. I'll have to look at that later. But just so you guys know, some of the core keystones of my long-term account: Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple, Tesla, United Health Group, UNH, a little bit of gold. What else is in there? Those are the main ones. I know those are some of the biggest positions. I was looking at it before market opened. Those are some of my core things in my long-term multi-year account. All right. People are telling me that Sava reopened. Sava. Green it goes. That's good news. Good development. And it already halted. Yeah. I guess they were getting accused of manipulating data, and then it proved that there's no evidence of it. It makes sense that Sava's up 40%. That's just a good fundamental driver. Andre, top YouTube channels: Matt Kohrs, Trades, Off the Grid Trading, Keening, and Matt Kohrs again. Oh man, that's so nice. That's a solid group of people. Hey Matt, can you check out WYSR? Made a very nice swing trade in January. His chart looks similar again. Would love your non-financial advice, opinion, and chart setup. AMC to the moon. All right, HYSR. Let me write that down. HYSR in the handy notebook. SOXX and SMH are good ETFs. So SMH is actually the ETF that tracks the semiconductor industry. So if you don't want to pick between AMD, Intel, Nvidia, you can just trade SOXX or SMH. They're both ETFs, a basket that they have exposure to all of those. Just made 26% on Sava. Thanks for the heads up. Shout out Chris. I hope you guys are crushing it. Hey Matt, I was on Off the Grid Trading Live and he added a number to call in live. I thought it would be awesome if he got a call from you. I actually heard about his channel from your live. Much love to you, bro. Shout out Andre. Off the Grid Trading, I'm a fan of that channel for sure. I think it's a worthwhile check out if you guys haven't heard of it yet. What else do we have? How do I feel about Bngo? I have not heard about Bngo in a hot minute. I know it's a pharma play. Or biotech play. Hey, it's waking up. So we were talking about Bngo back here when it was above 10, but it looks like it's getting some steam. You would want the official breakout to break above and hold above 650 and then maybe contest 750. But be careful of the gap below it. This enthusiasm seems to be because of its earnings. Bro, have you checked out BGFV today? Big Five Sporting's Goods. Whoa there. Holy guacamole, back man. This has been on a nice 1, 2, 3, 4-day move. New all-time high. Congrats if you're in it. I'm not one who buys at a new all-time high, but if you have been sticking it out in Big Five shorting, congrats. Seriously, that's a nice move. Up 21% on the day, and in the past couple days, it's up 61%, 62%. Those are some tendies. Those are some serious tendies. Sava, how's this one doing? Oh, it's still halted after the unhalt. So at first it had a news halt. Now it has a volatility halt. And remember, brokerages do not decide this. Robinhood doesn't decide it. Webull doesn't decide it. None of the individual brokerages decide it. This is a market rule. When something moves X percentage in too short of a time, it gets halted. No one's trading it. It's not trading on any venue. It's not trading on any lit exchange. It's not trading on any dark pool. It's not trading at any market maker. It's not trading anywhere when it's halted. Asia Broadband. It's a penny stock. OTC penny stock. I would avoid it at every cost. Penny stocks, not a fan of. Just not enough regulation, especially when it's not even trading on a normal exchange. It trades on the gray market. No way. If you think the market generally too much manipulation and I guess not enough regulation and transparency is going on in the New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, you are not going to want to trade OTC penny stocks, even less. What are my thoughts on the Twilio gap fill. I've had to do some coding projects with their APIs. Basically, for those of you who don't know about this company, it kind of allows you to do like those automated SMS texts. That's how I've used it in the past. I don't know why its earnings dropped it so much, but the fact that people are buying it back up slowly but surely, I kind of like that gap fill. 311, you could risk this low of 280, and then you have that $30 of potential profit to capture. So it's a one-to-one risk to reward. Usually I look for better setups than one-to-one. That appears to be what this is. So if you like the company, have at it. I would like the risk to reward to be a bit improved of how I'm like, okay, I'm risking $30 to make $30. I'd rather I really prefer the best ratio, but like I kind of like 2 at maybe even 3 to 1 risk to reward setups. Can I check QuantumScape QS? Looks like it's finally fighting back. So there was a big misunderstanding in some of the reports that came out in December about what people inside of the company were doing. It got hit. Then it got hit again, and it's finally bending back around. Look like we're getting this breakout. I think the next stop could potentially be this gap fill from the low on April 14th, which is in the realm of like the low 40s, currently trading at 33. But once again, talking about risk to reward, we're trading at 33. You have $7 of upside, but you have $10 of downside. It's a strong looking chart, but just because something's looking strong doesn't mean it's a good opportunity. The risk to me isn't worth it. One, why no Sean Penn thumbnail? Can you please use some lines today for learning bull bear pennant identification? It is a bear in Tesla right now. Okay, we could do some pennants for sure. And Sean Penn, so those just in general, these high quality thumbnails, they just take a bit of time. We'll get a Sean Penn one for sure. Down the pipeline, but it just, all of these are made in advance just because, hey, the beauty of this art takes some time. What else do we have? Hey, Matchbox, thoughts on Lucid hitting 40? Also looking for a swing trade. Lucid hitting 40, I feel very confident in that. I'm a fan of Lucid. I think it's going to take, actually, it might not even take that much time. Lucid, to me, if you're asking at some point in the future, do I think Lucid will hit 40? I would be a very confident yes. Obviously, I can't guarantee anything, but I would feel very confident about Lucid hitting 40 for sure. Right there, now it's like, okay, well, when? And that becomes a little bit more difficult. But I think Lucid's chart is showing some strength. We have earnings coming up in early December. EV sector's hot right now. It just started delivering its vehicles in late October. It's a good, solid U.S. play in the luxury EV market. I think their cars look awesome. They have like incredible range these vehicles have. And that's one of the biggest, I would argue, turnoffs in the world of EVs. Like, I don't want to recharge that often. Well, Lucid is a player that has nice looking cars with incredible range, seems to have a pretty well put together board and leadership team. I'm bullish in the long term on Lucid. All right. Sava, how's that one doing? Did it unhalt already up to 88? It halted again, probably. Yeah, halt again. It's just people, it seems like it actually wants to rip back to what it was before. I'm assuming that this drop off in here, maybe that's what related to the potential data manipulation. So it seems like it wants to come back up into this realm before the sell off. You literally might be looking at 115 because like, oh, let's get back to the value we were at before it. You would want to double check that's when the, erroneous negative news came out. Like, so fact check it. It'll be like, okay, late August, is that when the bad news came out? If so, it makes sense to me that we would fill the gap all the way back up to there of trading at the level before the fake news came out, or the erroneous news, or the news that no one could prove, whatever you want to call it. So if you're in Sava, that's the name of the game. Right now, for those of you who are joining who don't know why we're talking about Sava, it's ripping right now because apparently they were accused of data manipulation, and there's no evidence of said data manipulation. Their investigation has concluded that. So if this is what caused it to drop, well, it makes a lot of sense to me that it should just be trading back up at that value. And if no one checks it, I could check it out in break, but we have quite a few interviews and stuff to do today. No matter where the market's at, I do need to stop the morning stream at 11. We have an interview with Yahoo this morning. I'll be on Yahoo a little bit after 11, around 11:30-ish. And then I have to interview. So I'm very excited for this one. So if everything goes well, this weekend's interview will be a guy who works at IEX, a guy who's very high up at IEX. So that should be an interesting conversation. Excited for that. So I'm hoping to get that interview concluded today. And there might be another interview coming down the pipeline. I'm just not 100% positive on that one. So busy day in between streams for sure. IWM looking good. Looks like it wants to hit another new all-time high. If it holds above 240, at that point, I'm just going to be paying attention to the psychological level of 250. But when you're at a new high, you can do technicals. You can do Fibonacci extensions. You could do that. But in reality, you're just not, like, you're letting price discovery play itself out. Like, yes, you can do technicals, but it's harder to do it when you're at brand new levels because you're in a realm, like you're in a whole new sea. You're testing out the new levels of supply and demand, and you just don't know where the big people are going to position themselves. So sometimes if enough people are paying attention to fibs, I found that those could be good indicators. But really, when you're at a new high, you just got to let it rip. It's a new open range. All right, so SAV, I'm kind of watching that 115-ish area. I think there's opportunity there. Tesla hit a new all-time high at 1242. I'm watching, once again, the psychological level of 1250. Keep doing your thing, bro. You make the apes proud. Tyrell Rutledge, I really appreciate that, man. It does not go unnoticed to me of the people who are in this to actually learn. And like, I am so happy to stand up for the apes. I am so happy to bring clearly articulated, informed arguments to mainstream media of where the system is letting us down. And it's weird because people get mad if I'm just not like beating the drum of what they think is right, even though it's like the tinfoil hat conspiracy type of stuff. Folks, we do not have to go out of our way to come up with crazy theories. Like, the inherent truth of what's going on with the duopoly of Citadel Securities, Virtu, of them taking away the buy button, of there continually being some form of manipulation day over day, the truth is on our side. We don't need to come up with all this other random stuff. Like, if we stick to the basics and we're all well informed about how dangerous all this extreme amount of off-exchange trading is, how much of a house of cards our system is when we're relying on one, maybe two market makers to provide liquidity in like heightened circumstances, that's not good. Like I said, it's a house of cards. The things we already definitively know is truly enough to go to the SEC and politicians about. It really is. And I guess to bring this like full circle, I mean, I feel very confident in some of these key aspects to the point that I'm more than happy to like dice it up, debate with anyone, go on, explain it to politicians, more than happy to do it. And when people are like, well, why doesn't he hop on the bandwagon of like XYZ? It's because, well, some of the bandwagons are right, and that's what's gotten us to this point, but some of them are also wrong. Not every theory out there presented by an ape is going to be accurate, and that's fine. I'm not saying we shouldn't be looking into new theories. I'm in fact saying the opposite. I think we just need to take more of a scientific approach. You present a theory, we test it. If it holds water, great, we could use it. If it doesn't, we move on. There's no need to get emotionally attached to things that have been previously disproven. Matt, QS has an awesome solid state battery that GM and Toyota are really close to using. The charge time is really quick and the range is incredible. I'm a fan of QS. It's backed by Volkswagen, it's backed by Bill Gates, and I'm just bringing those two names up because they don't really back losers commonly. It's a good EV battery. I'm a fan of EV. I'm a fan of it. It's not my favorite EV play, but I still think it's a strong EV play. Sava halted again. All right, let's just bring up Sava because it seems like it is a bit more jumpy, a bit more interesting. Yo, Matt, shout out to VYGFV, killing it. Can you check the text on MNMD? I'm still holding at 283 from September, and it looks like it might be awake now. So IWM, ding, 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 just hit a new all-time high. And what are we looking at on MNMD? I believe this is the like kind of psychedelics play. Oh, I like it. Watch it to 3. See if it can break out. We might get a cup and handle situation. Maybe its earnings will be enough to push it over. But you want the breakout of the high 2s to the low 3s, and it might get moving from there. LAC up 11%. Lithium miner, that makes a lot of sense. Lithium, high demand, low supply. Sava printing. L Randall crushing Sava again. Shout out to Voyager. Joe Prime, what's going on? The stock, I mean, I don't own Voyager stock, but I definitely use Voyager. That's pinned to the top of chat. If you want to get into the world of crypto, check it out. It's free to sign up. As soon as you trade $100 of any crypto, you'll get an additional $25 of Bitcoin credited to your account. This is for US residents. It's an app you download, a phone app that you download. I think it has one of the best UIs, UXs in the game right now. You can download it, put in that code MAT21. It's pinned to the top of chat. You'll get that extra bonus as soon as you trade 100 of any crypto. I think it's a smart play. Even if you get 100 of Bitcoin, well, now you get an extra $25 worth of Bitcoin. So you have inherently a $25 risk already built into your position. And then if you want exposure to Doge, SHIB, Ethereum, Cardano, Solana, it's easy to use. I am going to beg of you, do not trade crypto on something like Robinhood, Webull. You don't own it. It's not a wallet. You can't transfer it out. It's a very fancy schmancy IOU. And you're going to very quickly learn in the world of crypto, it's important to actually own the crypto that like you're in, just to make that very, very explicitly clear. And you do not own it if you're on Robinhood or Webull, at least as of now. In the future, clearly they might roll out wallets. That's obviously a possibility, but I'm just saying at this moment in time, November 4th, they do not actually have wallets, just to be very, very clear about that. On top of it, Voyager is not, if you really are in the world of crypto, it's not going to be the answer to all of your questions or problems or anything like that. I use Voyager, I use Coinbase, I use Gemini. I use all three. I use them for different reasons. I'm not beholden to one particular one. I just like Voyager. Its UI is really good. Its UX is really good. If you're outside of the US, you're going to want to look at Coinbase or Gemini. If you're in the state of New York, you're going to want to look at Coinbase or Gemini. If you're in Hawaii, you're going to want to look at Gemini or Voyager. There's just different state laws and problems depending where on you are or aren't. For those of you who want more options that I don't personally use, Binance is pretty good, pretty respected. Kraken was until, I don't know, they really pissed off the SHIB army. Uphold is out there, Gate.io, Crypto.com. There's a lot of options. You have a lot of options, to the point that there's no reason in trading crypto on a brokerage such as Robinhood or Webull where you don't actually own the crypto. There's so many good options out there for all of you. Today is my birthday. I just want people to buy a tulip, not trying to get pushy, just curious if you know when you'll be able to do a crypto swap video. Night Forge, I'm not too sure. If it happens, it's going to be on a weekend, but it's just like not in the schedule as of now. Maybe it's something that might be faster for me to do, to just make it part of a live stream, to do a specific one like that. But if you have like a particular one of like, oh, I want like this type of swap, that type of swap, that might even be faster then. Look, folks, Sava is a $100 stock. I've said this for months. Match and Share can testify to this. L. Randall has been very bullish on Sava for quite a while. Why not BlockFi? BlockFi is good. Less options. A lot of people right now, just my audience particularly, they're very interested in a lot of the altcoins, and BlockFi just doesn't really have many altcoins. Everybody smash that like button. This man drops knowledge every day. He deserves it. It's at least we can do for Matt. He's our mainstream voice. Smash that like button. Tyrell, that's so nice. I appreciate that. If you haven't already, I truly would appreciate it if you could drop a like. It's completely free. It just helps me out with the algorithm. Same thing with subscribing. If you want to be a member of the Moon Gang, hit that subscribe button. We talk about stocks, options, crypto, literally every day, Monday to Friday, extra interview content on the weekend. I just love love this community. It's one of the smallest ways that I can show myself giving back to all of you is by basically working tirelessly and trying to tell you the truth of what's actually going on in the world of Wall Street, specifically stocks, options, and crypto. I love it. Day in, day out. You guys are the best. BlockFi is good for interest if you hold BTC or ETH. Yeah, and actually right now Voyager has some very great interest payments, right? Rewards. Check out the interest payments. Right here, Bitcoin 5.75%, Cardano 4.5%, Ethereum 4.6%. Those are some of the major ones, but solid interest payments. These are the November ones. Pretty solid. Decentraland, that might be, I know a lot of people are interested in Mana right now just because of how much it's been going up. A nice 2% payment there. SHIB, 2% there. Not bad. Hey, let your money work for you, folks. Never a bad idea to let your money work for you. All right, AMC currently trading just south of 40, was battling it. Check out this triple rejection. So support, rejection. Something important is going on at $40.20. What do we have to do for the interest payment? It just has to be there. Like you just have to own it on Voyager and you'll get those interest payments. Can you check out FATBB? FATBB. Fat brands. So the fact that, what's the actual ticker? I'm very confused on why it has 5, but it's trading on the NASDAQ. Was this just uplisted or something? Something had to happen. I'm a little confused at the fact that its ticker is 5 long, but it's on the NASDAQ. It must be a new uplist or something along those lines. Hey, it's looking good. It's at an all-time high, so I'm not going to buy it. But if you're already in it, congratulations. Ride that trend out. Definitely ride that trend out. Have you talked about Nvidia today? Yep. Yeah, love Nvidia. It's crushing it. New all-time high. Pelosi's becoming richer and richer and richer. Her 1.5 million in Nvidia calls must be printing more than the Federal Reserve. I mean, just, it's almost as if she knew something. FATBB is a Reddit Wall Street Bets pump. Oh, this is the first time I'm hearing about it. I don't know anything about this one, really. If it is just like a social media thing, obviously you have to express some caution. Nicola, I'm not going to touch it just because of Milton. It's doing better, and I know Milton's out of the picture, but to me, it's just it's a toxic equity. All right, KuCoin is the only way I have the ability to buy SHIB in New York. Thanks for all the knowledge. Keep it up. Shout out. You also will be able to get it through Coinbase Pro, just so you know, if you're in New York. Just so you know. Let me see. All right. Good. All right. So Nicola, it is on a move, but it's just, I don't know. That's more of like, I guess, a moral thing. Like what the previous CEO did, Trevor Milton, not a good situation. Like it was just lying. All right. Let's drop to the 3 minute. Let's get going. Let's see what we have there. All right, what else? So Prog 344 having a pretty solid day. Prog. Ooh, Prog's actually having a very nice looking day thus far. I think, okay, I'm up to date there. Let me see. The Russell RTY. The Russell. All right. Smash that like button. Like Matt smashed Zyphoid. What's going on, Jason? Oh, brother. Mark is debating himself again. I appreciate all you do. You hot chipper. What's going on? Yanni. That, for anyone doing the hot chip, it's very hot. And I don't know, maybe to some people it's not hot. I'm not the best with spices. I'm not one of these people who's like, oh my God, I could eat the hottest thing in the world. No, it was very hot. But I found the most difficult part to be like the straight up stomach pain, like afterwards. It was spicy, and I cared about that for the first 20 minutes. The next 10 minutes, I was like, whatever. And then the next 30 minutes for the second half of the hour, it was just a pure stomach pain. To my understanding, I had that because my stomach wasn't coated. All I had was that chip and 2 cups of coffee. So there was like just literally nothing in my stomach. Probably the problem. And it was fixed as soon as I took some Tums and got some ice cream into my system. But that was the hard part, to become invincible. That was definitely the hard part. You know what? Let's have some fun really quick. I want to see what in the world is going on with Nancy Pelosi these days. Nancy Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi. Where are your trades? Where are your trades? Nancy, Nancy. Here we go. Nancy Pelosi. She's crushing it. She is crushing it. Spouse purchased Nvidia. Spouse purchased Nvidia options. Purchased 50 call option with the strike of 100 and expiration date of, what is this, September 20. What? She is destroying this play. And it's also weird that like when it comes to this, the amount is not being reported. Oh, wait, that was for work. Sorry. That last one. No, wait, hang on. Okay, the first 3 are for Nvidia. Stock, options. Crushing it. She's crushing Nvidia. She also has a strike price of 400, expiration date of July. Are you kidding me? She bought $1 to $5 million worth of 400 strike for July. Folks, July of next year, as in, yes, if you believe in Pelosi right now, this thing is going to keep cruising. Do you know how much money she has to be able? She's betting on the 400s and it's trading at 280. Folks, that's insane. That is ridiculous. What else has she done with Nvidia? More options that we don't know about. And more options, 400. So she got even more of those. So she has at least, but it's going to be way more, $2 million in options for $400, at least July on Nvidia. If I swear to God, if we get to July 17th and Nvidia is above 400, well, okay, we could look at this as one of two ways. You could either be pissed and be like, that seems wrong. Or if you think she's going to be right, you could just take the exact same trade and make some money on it. June. Sorry, I keep saying July. Excuse me. I do mean June. So for June, right here, my bad. I am totally misspeaking. June, right here. June 17th, at least $2 million in the 400s. And then she also has more for the September ones. What? For the hundreds? What is she doing? Matt, that was before the 4-to-1 stock split. It wasn't for, okay. So this was before Nvidia. Yeah, Nvidia went through. Shout out to John. That's a very, very good point. So this would now be equivalent to the hundreds. Wait, what? So she did this before the stock split. And if you just want to see, that's a very good point, John. The stock split was right here on July. So right here, transaction date. Okay, so yeah. So these actually were all the exact same ones, because if you do the 4-for-1, she did this later. This was in July after the stock split. So assuming this was of the same size, and maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, she has about $3 million in call options for Nvidia $100 strikes for mid to the 3/4 of the way through next year at $100. Folks, Nvidia is trading at $285. What? That is so insane. I do appreciate you pointing that out, John. That's a good point. And then that kind of makes sense because then in July, she actually got more of them. So she created that position 3 times. Just the third one was actually for September instead of June of 2022. That's ridiculous. So, wow. Talk about insider bullshit. June. Damn. I wonder why she didn't go farther out of the money. That's nuts. She's crushing it. The gains on that have to be incredible. Matt, when charting and trading, I'm always confident in support but skeptical of resistance. Did you do through anything like that when I started? I'm always confident but skeptical of resistance. No, I didn't go through anything like that. I mean, I view them to be just both important levels of price reaction I view them to be areas of important price levels where I'm expecting a reaction. And the resistance, I'm just like, okay, is it going to come down? And then support, I'm looking for the bounce. But I just view them as both just key levels that I care about. So if she exercises, she owns Nvidia. Cool. What's going on, Drake? I live in New York and there's no buy or sell button on SHIB for Coinbase Pro. KuCoin is the only way I found it. Oh. Does anyone else in the state of New York have suggestions on how to get... I really thought you could get SHIB on Coinbase Pro. Let me know any New Yorkers of how you get SHIB. Just feel free to comment that. Prog having a great day right now, 355. I just transferred partial AMC shares from Robinhood to Public. Want to transfer all my shares, but fearful they'll get tied up during a potential squeeze. In your experience, how long have transfers taken you? My transfers have just been denied. I tried to do a full transfer from Webull to Public, and it got denied, and they don't know why. Ryan, I don't think you're going to miss it. Like if you start it today, and of course there's risk. I can't guarantee it, but I think you're going to be pretty okay if you start it today. KuCoin, Coinbase Wallet, New York City, Shiba Swap, Bitmart, Uniswap, KuCoin seems to be the ones I'm seeing the most of. Someone said it doesn't work on Coinbase Wallet. Coinbase Wallet, New York. So some differing information about that. Transfer Ethereum to Atomic, then trade Ethereum for SHIB. KuCoin. Probably the one I'm seeing the most of right now is KuCoin. But then some people are saying it does work on Coinbase. Coinbase Wallet for SHIB. Someone said they transfer to Public from Robinhood and it took 4 days just to come back to you. Ryan. Atomic Wallet I'm seeing more of. All right. AMC, we're just pushing the 40-20 level. I think we could get some enthusiasm, some momentum building off of that. Russell looking good. Let's just very quickly check the SPY, new all-time high, 467. Q, new all-time high. I'm watching 400 on this. It's just the psychological level. We're at 397.60 right now. I think a lot of these things are going to be attracted to their psychological level. If the SPY keeps going, like the next psychological level is 475. This is just, it's insane. It's purely insane. Ridiculous. I hope you're making some money on the overall market. I hope you're making money everywhere. Right now, Bitcoin getting a little bit of a bounce. I'm telling you, Bitcoin, the amount of levels we've seen of rejection at 64,000, if Bitcoin gets back above 64,000 and can hold it, I strongly believe we're going to be testing a new all-time high. Ethereum looks like it's bouncing off of 4,500. I think this is on its way to 5,000. Speaking of new all-time highs, it looks like Solana wants to make another one. So congrats if you're in this, and I'm just going to watch that 250 level, but I'm not going to sell it if we get there. I'm just going to hold it and hold it and hold it. When did I actually get into Solana coin? I think I own that in my Coinbase account. Solana, I got it on September 22nd, and it looks like it cost me about $138 per per coin on Solana. So just to give everyone a breakdown of my crypto, just because crypto is obviously a crazy money-making opportunity. In my Coinbase account, I'm staking my Ethereum for Ethereum 2.0, so that's locked up. I have Solana, Cardano, Polygon, Bitcoin, SHIB, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin SV, US dollar. So the Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin SV, US dollar, it all must have been for some sort of, like, I don't know, me going through the program and answering problems and all of that stuff. So that's my Coinbase wallet. Gemini, I already can tell you it's Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's what I have in my Gemini. And then in my Voyager, I have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Doge, SHIB, Litecoin, Algo, VeChain, and then also Voyager's specific VGX. And then outside of all of those, I also have Hex staked on the Hex platform. So that's my whole crypto portfolio for everyone to know. And my biggest ones are by far, well, I shouldn't say by far. Bitcoin and Ethereum would be the top. And then right under that, it would be Solana and Cardano. Yeah. Solana, Cardano, probably Matic. Wait, I have Matic. Why did I not read that off to you? Polygon. I read off Polygon. That's up there. Yeah. 1 and 2, the distance between 1 and 2 and everything else, Bitcoin and Ethereum are my top 2 for sure. And then the next one comes in at Solana, but that's not because of the initial investment. It's because of how much Solana has run. Damn, Solana is crushing it. Look at this thing. That's nuts. Look like we're following the big names, but watch out for GFS long-term. Carlos, what's going on? Your thoughts on Intel, possible gap up due to drop ROM earnings. Intel. INTC. So they had the drop on earnings. I do think there's I don't think Intel is going anywhere. Obviously, ever since April, it's had a rough run of it. Eventually, I do think this gap gets filled up to 54. The risk reward's not that bad. I mean, it's trading at 50. You could risk $2 for the opportunity of almost $5. So that's a 2.5 to 1 ratio. Not a bad deal. It would be nice to get some of that momentum above 50, 55. Then you have to watch 51.90-ish. I think there's opportunity there. But when it comes to semiconductors, I'm most biased towards Nvidia. I'm a little bit biased towards AMD. I like them all, but this is my third favorite. If you dive into the world of processing chips, you're going to want to focus on 3 main things. These very fancy GPUs, these processing chips. You have to talk about the world of AI. You have to talk about the world of data centers, and you have to talk about the world of esports. So right now, Nvidia is by far the most dominant in the world of esports. And right now, it's making up ground in the world of data centers and a little bit of AI. And the data center stuff, that's where Intel's kind of losing out on it, as Nvidia and AMD are making up ground there. So I don't know. For whatever reason, people are becoming more biased towards Nvidia specifically, and clearly also AMD. And for whatever reason, you have Intel, their processing chips. Recently, a couple quarters ago, Apple kicked them to the side. Apple's like, you know what? We're going to make our own chips. So that very fancy, when you hear about Apple and their processing chips, like the M1, that hurt. It's good for Apple, but it hurt Intel. Intel was getting a nice revenue bump from selling all of those to Apple quarter over quarter. They lost out on that, and now they're losing market share in the world of data centers. Think about Microsoft Azure and also Amazon AWS, those big data centers like cloud computing. So they're losing market share there, and then they lost a big client of Apple with the M chips. I don't know. That's I'm bullish on it, but I'm still most bullish on Nvidia and AMD. And with AMD, it's very, very beneficial to be thought of as the gold standard. And that's exactly what Nvidia is. It's in the world of processing chips, people are always trying to chase the technical superiority of Nvidia as of now. Obviously, things can happen, but that's where we're kind of at in real time. All right, where are we at? IWM, new high, but kind of flat right now. Apparently, I have up 2 IWMs to really drive home that point. The Q's still ripping, SPY still ripping, ding, 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 new all-time highs across the board. Lucid, 36, Tesla, 1236. Any kind of picking up at 660, crypto miner. DWAC, I got out of that put position because I'm just worried that they're going to announce the beta soon and I'm going to get ripped apart. So I got rid of those puts for medium-sized loss. Wasn't the most happy with that one. Avis holding on to 300 after the insanity earlier this week. What else do we have? AMC still holding on to 40. GME holding on to above 215 with a higher low. Look for GME to punch above 220. Remember, the most recent fundamental driver for GME is a new credit facility, a new asset-backed liquidity, ABL. Various banks were like, hey, we're going to give you more money. We're going to have more favorable terms for GameStop. That's good. It's beefing up their war chest. I like that. On top of it, I think they could be using that money to more expediently get into the world of, I guess, NFT marketplace. I want to say crypto, and I think they will in general be attacking the world of crypto, but it seems like their first stab at it will be specifically through NFTs and the NFT marketplace. Looks like that tweet the guy sent out about ATR about looking into naked shorts didn't spark any interest. Yeah, appears to be. But hey, you never know where it's going to lead. That's one of the most interesting things for me on this side of the camera is it's interesting to see what the community grasps onto. There's certain things that I'm like, oh man, the community's going to this is going to blow up. This will be the next thing. And then people say it and they're like, and whatever. And they move on. And then there's other things that I just I don't even really pay attention to. I'm like, oh, whatever. That's going to be a thought that's forgotten in a couple minutes. And then out of nowhere, it's still big and it blows up. And it's interesting in terms of crowd psychology to see what within the crowd becomes viral and not viral. It's exciting to me. Why is AMC Chatboard the only one that doesn't work on Yahoo Finance? I don't know. Maybe there was just purely way too much volume of discussion and they couldn't handle it or something. I don't know. I didn't know it didn't work there. All right. Sweet. What are NFTs? I have a video on it on this channel if you just search Matt Kohrs NFT, but it basically, the acronym is non-fungible token. Fungible means replaceable. It's the same, like $1 worth $1, even if you have different dollars. Non-fungible basically means that there's one of a kind, it's uniqueness. And NFTs really at their core are just a series of numbers and letters that the validity is secured and it's authorized and it's unique. It's one of a kind. That's all there is. And it's technically backed by the blockchain. It's interesting. I'm not super gung-ho into the world of just purely digital art. I just like the utility of NFTs. I think NFTs will change the world of music, of who owns copyrights. I think it'll change the world of real estate. Anything that there's an advantage to prove you are the owner or any advantage of proving authenticity and uniqueness, I think NFTs will upend that world. I haven't quite wrapped my head around NFTs that are pure digital art and have nothing else attached to it, of just art to be art. I don't really get that in my own mind. But the ones that if you own this, then you're allowed to do XYZ, those make complete sense to me. And I love that idea. Fungible. Matt's lags. It's not fundable. It's fungible. Think about fungi, like a mushroom. Wife saw Chip vid. Is he a financial advisor? No, he's the reason I'm blocked on you on Graham. So why do you sleep on the couch? Thanks, Gerald. That's hilarious. Man, that's hilarious. Can I take a look at PSFE? Yes, PaySafe. PSFE. PaySafe. What's the volume at? Low volume for a cheap stock. Bearish trend coming up into earnings, but right now I just don't see many buyers. Like, in fact, ever since the high at 20 in Feb, all this thing has done is sell off. If it builds up some momentum, yeah, you could talk about the gap fill and maybe the earnings will prompt that, but I just don't see buyers on PaySafe. Can you go over the Prog levels to watch? Yes, Prog. All right, my Prog levels to watch: support $2.90, we'll call it $3. First breakout, right roughly where we are, 360-ish. Then I like the level at $4, and then the recent high at $4.40. From there, I'm talking $5. But these are the levels that I'm watching. $ dill, I love that. Can we check out ANY? ANY 662. Would love for this to get back above 7, because then we have kind of a W. Like, this would be the start potentially of the next movement in the W. Look for the breakout of 712, and then I'm talking 760. I really like ANY above 760. Most of the time I avoid crypto miners, because my thought process is if you think a crypto miner is going to go green, you're really saying that you think crypto is going to go green. So you might as well just be in crypto and not take on the risk of inter-business competition. The reason why I think ANY is a little bit of a specialty case is because it has a pretty high short interest. It's commonly on the threshold list. So with crypto going, it actually might trigger a squeeze of some sort. There's a possibility of it. Can you transfer if you have options open? I'm pretty sure you want to call Webull like they are the only ones who denied it. So I've been trying to figure out whatever the issue is between Webull and Public. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it was because of stock. I don't know because it was options. I don't know. I don't know. And Public responded to me and they're like, oh, no, we don't know either. I'm like, well, this is weird. So problems there. Sphere, the largest Bitcoin green miner, was actively mining. Merger date announced, pre-merger dividend, and Elon Musk as board member. When did this come out? November 4th. Wait, what? That's nuts. How has there not been a bigger reaction to that? Let me check out the Ortex numbers on ANY just for everyone who is interested in that particular play. ANY, Sphere 3D Corp. The short interest. This is that weird one where it seems to always be under predicted. The 26th reach. So as of October 15th, I know we're talking about 2-3 weeks ago, it was about 2.91 million. But so what's weird about ANY is there's so many shares out on loan and a very small portion of it is actually short. It's weird. So right now, 13.15 million is out on loan, but they're estimating only 3 million is short. ANY, the Ortex data looks pretty wonky to me on that one. Like, it just doesn't really add up. But the only hardcore information we know is back from October 15th, and that's at 2.91 million, which is what they're estimating now, which puts the estimated short interest below 6%. Something's weird there, though. Cost to borrow, 26%. Utilization, 92%. It's so high. Why are they just out on loan? Something about ANY's data like tells me something is going wonky. Just doesn't add up. Can you explain the reason to have calls and puts on the same stock? Still learning options. Maybe a dumb question. Not a dumb question. And unfortunately, the answer is a bit complex, but there are various reasons to have calls and puts. You could... If you're very bullish, you could buy a call, you could sell a put. If you don't think the stock's going to move, if you think it's going to be range bound, you could sell a call or a put. If you think a stock's going to move, you just don't know which way, but you're like, this is going to be a crazy reaction. You could buy a call and a put, and then you cut the one that is like the wrong direction. There would be various ways. Or if you think, even on different time frames, you could buy, if you think you're bullish in the short term, you could buy a call, but in the long time you're bearish, you could then buy a put. So a short dated call, long dated put, and then obviously vice versa. There would be various reasons to do it, I guess, is my overall general announcement of why you would do calls and puts. All right, I think we're good there. Good. ANY, surprised about that. How's Tesla looking on the day? AMC waking up. I'm not missing it. I'm just trying to act like I don't see it. I don't want to spook it, but the break above 420 on an intraday basis, that's pretty exciting stuff. So I would like to see this obviously continue to the upside. Maybe we could watch 41-ish next. But AMC, GME just went green at this level of 218. Would love to see this break. Resistance. Love to see the break of 220 and see if we could get that follow through all the way up to 227. That could be cool. That could be awesome. And I'm kind of watching IWM. Let me know if Prog makes that push to whatever it is. I guess $4. Tesla looking good. IWM looking a bit weak. What you doing, IWM? The Qs are still strong. The SPY is still strong. The small cap sector, like notably lagging behind, could relate to the infrastructure bill. Crypto community. Hey, Matt, sent you an email. Keep it up. Thank you. I'll check that out. How shorted is Sava? The company's studies were not manipulated. This means that the medicine to treat Alzheimer's, this is a big deal. Let me check out the numbers on Sava. Sava. Short interest 31%. People betting against Sava right now are screwed. Utilization 100%. Cost to borrow 11.5%. Sava, like bears, are absolutely screwed. How much volume has it traded? It's traded 17 mil and the estimated shorts are 11.6 mil. They're so screwed. Data not manipulated. Alzheimer drug data, no manipulation, higher short interest. They're screwed. They're absolutely screwed. And the short interest has increased. From October 15th, we knew it was 9.42 million. And the shares on loan since then has gone up to the tune of maybe 22% more of it, like a relative increase. Man, they're going to get burned. They're seriously burned. I'd be looking for the gap fill up to 115. And if it gets like a lot of momentum and enthusiasm, it might carry more than that just because of FOMO and shorts getting squeezed out. Matt Kohrs, I have 1850 call on forward. Would like to know if you can take a look at the flow and give me your perspective, not financial advice. Brandon, I would have to know your expiration date. A forward 1850 call is very different from tomorrow versus like March of next year. I don't know what you're in, but I mean, it's running. It's definitely running. I would need to know your expiration date, but we could check out the flow in general. The flow on forward. 52.26 bullish, 47.74% bearish. Bullish, bearish, looking solid. The calls are clearly dominating 4-1 versus the puts. 46 million bet on calls, 5 million bet on puts. Ratio is strong. You're at a new high right now on Ford. This is a brand new all-time high. Do I think eventually this gap down here will get filled? Yeah, eventually. But right now, the momentum ever since the end of September is undeniable. But for you, it's not really a technical play at this point. Like, yeah, you could do some sort of fib extension like I've mentioned before. But it's an open range breakout. So with you, Brandon, if I were in your position, I would, for me to express what I would do, I would have to know your expiration. But if you're questioning it and you're feeling a bit antsy, I'm assuming you're in profit right now just because you're at a new high. So if you're questioning it and if you're not feeling the best, just lock it in. I need an explanation of what short interest is. Never understood. Need simple ape explanation. Okay, yes. So most of the time when people engage in the market, they're buying stock. Buying stock is also referred to as going long. Long, L-O-N-G. You buy at value X, you hope it goes up to Y, and you capture that difference. But you can engage in the market in an opposite manner. You could sell at X, which is referred to as going short. You hope it drops to Z, and you capture that difference when you buy back. So going long is the perfect inverse of going short. Long is you create a position by buying, and you get out by selling. Going short is the perfect inverse. You create a position by selling, and then you cover it, you get out by buying back. Going long and going short are literally the opposite of each other. So what short interest is, it's the amount of shares that are short, like they're sold and they're active, like as in they're not covered. The person who went short didn't buy it back. It's the amount divided by either free float or total outstanding shares. So it's just the shares in the system. So for example, let's say I own a stock, Moon, MMON, and there's only 10 shares in existence. Well, if you're short one of them and you're the only person that's short, that's 1 out of 10, and the short interest would be 10%. So it's the amount of shares short against the stock divided by how many exist. Thinking lately how AI solved chess. AI is gating on poker. Humans can still be AI heads up one-on-one. Humans know that apes are thinking AI doesn't. Could a human step in or let the algo ride? Apes are thinking. Human know what apes are thinking and AI doesn't. Could a human step in and let the algo ride? I would, if I understand it, what you're saying, I would agree with that, Drake. Matt, any reason you wouldn't transfer all BTC to Voyager to take advantage of the interest gains? A high majority is on Voyager because of exactly that. Like most of my BTC is on Voyager. I do have some on Gemini. I do have some on Coinbase, but that's for like swap and transfer purposes, while most of it lives on Voyager. So you already need to hold the stock before you go short. No. That's what stocks going out on loan is all about. You borrow it from a different person who already owns the stock. Because obviously you can't sell something that doesn't exist. Well, you shouldn't be able to. That's a whole nother can of worms. But that's why we check out the borrows, because for you to sell something you don't have, you have to borrow it from someone originally. So you borrow it, you sell it, you buy it back, and then you return it to the original owner. I bought Sava 210 calls for 120.23 when it started at 45 at a minimum. Good reversion play. Max shenanigans were afoot. Now we know. Shout out El Randall. Shout out El Randall. All right, Tesla looking good. AMC on this nice uptrend. Let's see if it's just kind of messing around at this like almost pivot level of the day, the low 40s. GME, we're just looking for the breakout above 220. Can of worms or can of peas? Very good question. Did you see Benzinga and Seeking Alpha's BS articles about Wedbush? Well, it's not their articles. They're reporting on what Wedbush said. It's not like Seeking Alpha or Benzinga wrote it. Wedbush wrote it, and then they're just like reporting the news of what they said. Like Wedbush writes their own pieces. All right, I think we are good there. IWM taking a surprising breather. It's just because the Qs are so strong, and the SPY, I guess, taking a little breather now. But you have IWM up 0.37%. I mean, I guess the difference is in the gap, because the SPY and the IWM, the Russell, I should say, are up the exact same amount percentage-wise. So just a different looking chart. But the Qs, the tech sector, ripping. Ripping. All right, coffee break, folks. Coffee break. Whoa, stop. All right, where are we at today? So for GameStop, they've borrowed a net of $40,000 against it, estimated short interest 10.6%, and for AMC, a net return of $700,000, putting the estimated short interest at 16.58% as of now. Once again, estimated, and we still have many hours to go in the day. We still have 5 hours of trading. All right, what else do we have? What else do we have going on? I get paid tomorrow, so I'm hoping AMC drops to around 35 so I can buy a chunk more. I understand what you're saying, but you have to understand that a lot of people do not want that to happen. And I think the chance of it dropping to 35 the day before earnings, especially when they just crush it in October, like, of course it could happen. I just think it's extraordinarily low. All right, it is 11 a.m. I had no idea. Time flies when you are having fun. Okay, so I will be going on with Yahoo Finance to talk about the apes, AMC, GME, BBUI, Avis, all of those. That's going to be in about a half hour if you want to check that out. And then from there, I have my own interview to do, and then I'll be posting that on Saturday if everything goes well. And then we're going to be back at 3 p.m. for Power Hour. So that's the schedule for the day. If you want to check out with Yahoo, we're going to be doing that. And then, of course, Power Hour, and I'll get that interview edited, videoed, all that good stuff. And then that'll be coming out on Saturday. I'm particularly excited for that one because it's with a exchange, someone who works at an exchange. So it should be fun. It should be very, very enlightening. I will catch you later on the day for your lunch hour, whatever you're doing midday. I hope you're having a good one. For all the people who are driving to work right now on the West Coast, please drive safely. For everyone on the East Coast who's about to have lunch, I hope you're making it through your day. I hope you don't have too many boring meetings, but I will be back for Power Hour at 3 p.m. And as always, for me and Chair, best of luck in the markets.